listening to the Foamy Heads Podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
I'm excited for these beers, man.
Burial edition, Mitch.
Yeah.
Burial edition.
Thanks for joining us again, people who are tuning in. I'm terrible at introducing people or us or in general, but
Don't need
Mitch and Rich
introduction,
here.
man.
Mitch and Rich
Yeah.
here. It's just
Mitch and
us.
Rich on the mic.
That's
And
right.
burial beers.
Burial
and
beers,
burial
surprisingly,
beers
man.
I'm really excited. Hey, man, props to you. Shout out to you, Mitch, for being able to score some burial beers in Atlanta
Chattanooga.
or Chattanooga. Like, that's
Yeah.
weird to me. Like,
Yeah.
being able to get burial beers in Tennessee is wild.
They must be trying something out with a distributor because for a while now, Chattanooga apparently has had Burial on tap at several locations here.
Huh.
And on top of that, now that I've went to a couple of the liquor stores since moving here, they're just on the shelf, cans and whatnot. It's not like they're big sellers, though. It's not their big stouts. They're not like the, I guess, full wardrobe of Burial. It's just the select few cans that make it here. So I'm not sure what we're seeing exactly, but
Well,
I'm
it was
happy to
back
have
in-
them.
Yeah, hands down. I want to say it was 2020. I think it was prior to COVID when Burial was testing a distribution plant out here in Tennessee and like Nashville, Greater Nashville, Murfreesboro, and all that. Because there were a couple of beer stores in Murfreesboro that got the basics, Surf Wax, some of their pilsners and porters, like stuff like that. So it wasn't any of like their highly sought after stuff. It wasn't their heavy stouts and stuff like that, but it was here for about a month. And then after that, it just kind of disappeared. And I think the plan was to come back, and then they just never did. So I don't know if what we're seeing now is kind of like the thought out plan after their test, and it just took 4 years to get there, or if they're dipping their toes in the water again, or if you just happen to get lucky and they've got a very small segment of Tennessee carved out for distribution.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I hope
but
they
you scored a
pump it
ton
up.
of them.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, so the full batch, we're going to review 2 of them today, but the full batch that came here for me to purchase is a porter, a Pilsner, and 2 types of IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're going to do the Pilsner and one of the IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
Cool thing about the IPAs, I think, let me just double check this other one. They're both Heavy Resin editions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about. I knew that about the one that we were having tonight, Savages of Ruminating Minds, but I did not know that the other one was a Heavy Resin.
Now, is Heavy Resin another, like a collaboration, or is it just a version that they're doing that has dry hopped and like more and more just resin abundancy or whatever?
It's definitely the latter. Probably Heavy Resin due to being like more dank, probably due to being either more dry hop or using something like cryo hops or, something like that to just amp up the dankness of a beer that leaves that sticky, cushy flavor in your mouth after you drink an IPA.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I heard that. Sounds like you need
I'm
a
not even
beer.
drinking yet, Mitch. God damn.
Well,
should we crack it open?
Yeah, let's get into the Pilsner. It's funny that we're talking Pilsners. We've shared some opinions about some Pilsners lately. But breweries are just popping them out everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
Was it only a year and a half ago, or was it 2.5 years ago where I started really digging into lagers and Pilsners again?
I want to say, Mitch, it was before that, because when Smith and Lentz had kind of opened up back after the pandemic and after everything had shut down. We had a few buddies had decided we were going to go meet up somewhere else, and you decided to stop by Smith and Lentz, and that's kind of when you started getting into the hoppy Pilsners. So I want to say it's been 3-4 years.
Yeah, they probably had the Pilsner that brought me back into the fold of Pilsners because it was dry hopped. It was their Italian Pilsner Pizza Palace.
Yeah.
That thing's just delicious. Like,
Banging,
you would,
man.
if you're a hophead and you hate Pilsners, you're going to like that one.
You got it the other
it's
night.
so good. Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost mandatory for me to pick up some of that when I come into town now because I just like it so much. But Barrique has a new Pilsner that we're not going to talk about it till you also have a can, and then we can get into it. But I have a very against the grain opinion about it compared to the large populace. So I want to know if I'm just wrong, plain wrong. But I want to dig into that Barrique Pilsner more with their process to see if maybe I should be tasting something that I just think is something else.
Mm-hmm.
But I've poured my Pilsner here.
I've got mine too. I am looking. Boy, that's a good looking beer. Hey,
Yeah,
shout
dude.
out to Burial, man. Look at this thing.
Yes. Nice foamy head.
That's right, man. And it stays too. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
It looks like it's that foamy head just stays with it. So that flavor's locked in underneath. You've got a nice pour on yours as well, Mitch.
Yeah, look at that jiggle.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
what
a
we
little
like.
pudding. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. That's awesome. So right off the bat, the beer looks inviting.
Mm-hmm. Very looks good. Looks great. Smells great. So this is Threads, the 4.9% ABV Pilsner from Burial, with a collaboration of OK Beer Company, based out of Honeoye, New York.
Whoa.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. Yeah,
I'm looking it
small
up.
town. It's a small town with like 2,700 people in it. There's nobody to it.
Honeoye. No, I don't know.
Honeoye.
Honeoye.
I'm pretty sure it's Honeoye, New York.
Honeoye.
I had to throw it into Google and ask him how to pronounce it so I could get the pronunciation for it.
Oh, I was just doing that.
Yeah.
Honeoye. Wow. Yeah.
Honeoye.
Honeoye.
So 4.9% ABV, 37 IBUs, collaboration with OK Beer Company, a 5-barrel brewery. Small place located inside a bowling alley, actually, inside Honeoye Falls, New York.
Oh, this also is a collaboration with Leaf International, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Burial's done.
Sorry, I didn't know if you said that or not. Did I miss it?
Nope, you did not. That's just something I was looking up too. Burial's done a lot of work with Leaf Global Arts anyway. I mean, they've been brewing beers with them since like 2016. So I don't know if this is one of those like collaboration beers they did for them. It kind of seems like it is, but I couldn't find much on it.
Well, Leaf is a 501c, so I guess the collaboration, some of the probably purchases, the money goes to it. Okay.
Yep.
So less collaborative, but in partnership or for.
Yeah, that's
the
the word
501c.
for it then.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know 100% of the proceeds from Threads go to benefit the Leaf Global Arts.
Cool. Okay.
Let's get in the nose real quick, though, by the way. What's this thing? This thing smells... I mean, this thing smells like a classic Pilsner. It's kind of... Oh, you've already dug into it. You already went right in.
I tasted the foam earlier.
Yeah.
I skipped the step. But the nose, it's got something extra on there that I can't quite tell you. Because Pilsners don't always have like a nose I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of smell like the yeast, I guess. And it's just kind of like... It can rub you right, it can rub you wrong, depending on your opinion.
I think this is kind of the same thing for me. When I smell that, I go, it's not necessarily inviting. When I smell it, you're right. It's got that weird, like, nose profile on the end that makes you go, I don't know. But it's Burial, and those guys have a very hard time doing anything wrong. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I will say, taking the sip, it doesn't taste like it smells. Like, this thing is super clean. It's got a little bit of hoppiness to it.
Mm-hmm. Dude.
A little bit of soapiness, but not too much.
I'm liking the sweet notes to it, though.
Yeah.
To the foam.
Fermented with experimented thio-maximizing yeast, whatever the fuck that means.
That thing comes back into play. We've had a few beers with that.
Mm-hmm. Hopped with Mittelfruh and Motueka hops. Motueka hops, that's probably where you're getting that sweetness.
Yes.
And the heavy yeast is probably where you're getting that breadiness too.
That explains it all.
Precision combination of hops, fermentation, and flora provides an insane dosage of... Okay, this is from Untappd. Insane dose of Welch's sparkling white grape. Are we getting that out of this? Now that you have it, now you got to take a sip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
If you do an aggressive taste, yeah. I can taste that it's a white grape juice.
Okay. Finger Lake Sweet Riesling, white grape, white raspberry gummies, and lemon frosted granola.
How? No. But, yeah. You don't need to go that deep. Never go full beer geek. But I do agree. It has a very nice juice, kind of white grapefruit juice, or grapefruit. Is that right? Grape juice. Just grape juice. But it's not sugary. So I don't want to phrase it like it's as sweet as that juice. It's a Pilsner, but it's got that nice juice lift.
It doesn't taste like your... I guess I was wrong. It doesn't. The beginning kind of tasted like a classical Pilsner to me, but the more I drink this, the more I steer away from that comment. It's got you. I think you nailed it. It's got juiciness to it. It's super crushable and easy to drink. Like, this is a hot summer day beer.
Yeah, and it would slay my thirst for sure. Not to steal anything from Liquid Death's Thunder, but yeah,
this is where it's at.
Yeah,
it's under
this is
5%.
the thunderstorm on a hot day. This is good.
Yeah. This is lawn mowing beer right here.
Mm-hmm.
I love this kind of stuff. And I guess hats off to Burial for creating a non-wild name for a beer. Like Threads it's simple. It doesn't get much simpler than that.
True. I'm curious why they went with one word on this one as opposed to a paragraph like the other.
Well, so I mean, this could have something to do with the fact that maybe they're trying to carve out a different style naming convention for, beers that they're doing for, like when they were for the Leaf Global Arts, like festivals and stuff like that. Maybe reserving their more wild names for like their own beers and like their brewery collabs, maybe. I don't know.
I guess
just
so.
thought.
The name is okay.
It's not bad. And at under 5%, 37 IBUs, like, it's crushable.
Yeah, this is, I'm sad I don't have a 4-pack of those, but maybe I can still get some.
Well, you had 2, but you gave one of them away. So, no, you had 2.
You got 2.
I have 2. Yeah. You had a 4-pack. Had a 4-pack, but you split them with me. That's what it was.
Yeah, dude, this is a good one. Of course, I don't think we've had one bad Burial yet, though, which is weird. Shouldn't be that good, but I guess you should be. You should aspire to be.
Yeah. And I guess it maybe just depends on what you like, because, I mean, their stouts are big, right? They're super heavy. Their IPAs are typically New England style, but they've got some West Coast. But we did do we never released it, but we did do a Burial recording session probably about a year and a half ago. And we drank probably 3-4 different Burials, and like at minimum, one of them was like good. The other ones were just out of this world. So hats off to Burial.
Yeah, every single Burial beer just so good. Just so good.
You in English, man. You got some hard times.
Yeah, it's getting harder as I get older.
Mm-hmm.
The mind just doesn't want to, for whatever reason. Plus, I mean, once I get into beer, it gets worse.
Yeah, that's true,
man.
So I'm digging this one. It's a step away from the typical burial that I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is not one of those beers that I would see in a store. Honestly, I'd buy it because it's burial, but if I had a choice of a ton of other burial beers, I'd probably overlook this just because it's a Pilsner. But I'm digging this. Just drinking it, I'm digging it.
Yeah. It doesn't taste like, if you were to tell me, guess where this beer came from, I would not say burial.
Yeah.
Just out of experience alone with drinking their typical fare. If it was an IPA or one of those really heavy stouts, I'd be leaning towards them.
Mm-hmm. Burial beers are definitely they're unique. They've got their own style and flavor. They're not Bearded Iris unique, right? They don't have that flavor where you take a sip and you go, oh, I know exactly where this brewery's from. But I'll taste an IPA from Burial and I'll go, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is something that Burial would make. And you're like, well, as a matter of fact, it is a Burial beer.
Yeah. Burial. You can always tell Bearded Iris, but the one competitor to Burial would be, I'm trying to think their names because your guys are going to get some at Dark Lord Day coming up. Treehouse. Love those guys. Because their IPAs are just amazing as well. So when you have a damn good IPA that's not a Bearded Iris, you're like, hey, could it be? Could it be?
I'm here for it too, man. I like the direction that IPAs are heading. I think that it's starting to get crowded, but that's okay with me because I like that style of beer. I'll drink the same style of beer over and over and over if I like it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's definitely getting to the point where you can't tell anymore. You know, there's got to be a differentiator if you're going to continue pumping out beers like that in this space. Or you can just keep brewing really good IPAs. But the problem is there's so many good breweries that are doing that now. So you're not going to be able to stand out amongst the crowd.
Big time. It's funny when you go interviewing breweries and stuff, and then you have your IPAs, and the trend, they always have a couple IPAs or more than two. And you try them, you're like, yeah, I like these too. It gets a little frustrating because you don't have a good identifier or mark of that brewery that led you to drink their IPA. It's not as good of a story. Homestyle is special in that regard, and everyone who's had a homestyle will know it. They somehow cracked the code on that one, right?
It's Bearded Iris.
You just know it right off the bat. So I'm waiting for a flood of Bearded Iris homestyle and imitation, but not imitations, but they're just doing the same process.
Yeah, you want a brewery to be unique when they make that IPA. You want them to taste like that brewery, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I don't think Bearded Iris has really stated what they do, but it's only a matter of time as people move around, I'm sure. But.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a matter of, most of their IPAs are brewed with Mosaic homestyles and all Mosaic IPA, but I'm sure a lot of it has to do with their filtration process and the minerals in the water that they use.
That makes sense.
And they probably use certain yeast profiles also that kind of give that juicy, like thick part in the back of your throat that makes you go, oh, this is Bearded Iris. And it kind of gives you that little bit of a freshness, clean flavor. I go, this is definitely a Bearded Irish style beer. Whatever they're doing, they have figured out how to replicate it across their different beers. And I'd like to see other breweries do something like that too, to where you could drink it and go, this must be a Burial IPA.
Yeah.
Right now, I just drink a Burial IPA and go, this is a fucking awesome IPA.
Never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Dude.
I guess
shall we?
To the next one then, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Go. Savages of Ruminating Minds, India Pale Ale.
That scared the shit out of me. I wasn't expecting the transition.
That's one beer, Mitch. It's 5%. You're shook tonight.
I was looking at the words, and then out of nowhere, I've got the noise cancellation earbuds on. And there's just, yeah. I felt the shiver a little bit there. That's right. It's funny. It's just getting back into the emotion of talking and using our actual media board.
Yeah.
It's going to get better.
So this one, Savages of Ruminating Minds, you picked this one up as well. 7.2% IPA coming in at 50 IBUs. So definitely the opposite ends of the spectrum from this Pilsner that we just finished.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. I'm going to click a media thing here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to read the description because it's a burial description.
I want to hear this.
I was hoping it was more, I was hoping it was more of the beginning where it's like, and it echoes in. Yeah. But that was right up in our face. Sorry. I'm just having fun with the media board now. And that's a song that I clicked on, apparently. But, okay. Anyway. Burial, this beer, the Savages of Ruminating Minds, or as I said earlier, the Savages of Ruminating Minds. As I was Googling it. Yeah. Where your demons reside, held at the brink of surreality. Fostered by your mind as the paintings of your own truth, a light beam we could not refract. The IPA that helped to define the burial style, usurped by the aura of the heavy resin. Made with wheat notes, whirlpooled with Mosaic Incognito and Cryo, double dry hopped with Mosaic Motueka Idaho 7, and a dose of the Mosaic Cryo.
So they're using cryo hops in here. We kind of talked about that a little bit when we were talking about the resin edition. It's got that probably most using like double dry hopped and using a cryo style hop.
I'm excited. This is I don't know. If it's just a danky beer, then Heavy Resin is just kind of really cool marketing to add to the spin. But
it's got that, just on the nose, this thing has got that, it's got a super dank smell. Soapy, which is really weird to say for a beer because normally you're smelling soap and it's not going to taste good, but this thing smells like that. Savages of Ruminating Minds, Heavy Resin Edition, 7.2% ABV, 50 IBUs. So this is going to be the other end of the spectrum than what we just finished. This is getting heavy rankings. This is getting a 4.2 on Untappd and a 93 on Beer Advocate, which is outstanding.
Heck yeah. Hold on.
Yeah. Is it going to work? Is it going to do it?
No, I guess not. Apple just kind of...
What the hell is Mitch doing?
Yeah, Apple chooses when and when not to add fireworks.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
There it goes.
All right, let's get into this.
There we go. Heavy Resin Edition. Double dry hopped with Mosaic, Motueka, and Idaho 7. Beaming with loads of pineapple, candy, orange pulp, and blueberry kush.
Okay, so it's a weed.
Supposedly. It's definitely got that dank ending to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nose is soapy. The foam is very hoppy. Oh
yeah?
I haven't had the beer yet, but yeah, the foam. I just chewed on it a couple times. I'm like, man, just very bitter. Yeah.
Definitely can taste the pineapple in here.
This is nice.
Yeah.
I can see why it's like a lower 4, which is really good out of 5. But
yeah. I think I like the super heavy resin flavor on the end. Like it's kind of got like that stickiness that stays with you throughout the sip, and it stays on the palate at the end. It's a really good beer.
Yum. It's
Orange
definitely
pulp.
it's got a little bit of that too much sweetness for me at the end for some reason.
Yep.
But
yeah, I would almost
it's
prefer.
right at the end.
I would almost prefer this being just a little less. And with Idaho 7 hops, it's really odd because I've had Idaho 7 hopped IPAs and I've had single hop Idaho 7. That thing is a super bitter hop. Like it is not meant to be for anything but bittering hops. There's no flavor to Idaho 7 hops. It's super bitter. There's no sweetness to it. So I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. Maybe the Motueka hops, which is kind of giving it that fruitiness to it. Possibly, but I wasn't expecting that sweetness on the end of this. I like it.
It's nice though. Yeah.
It almost Ruminating Minds.
It doesn't make it marshmallowy, but I feel like it's got that sweet vanilla without the vanilla flavor. It's just that it's a little kick at the end. I'm trying to describe, but
I'm definitely getting that. I'm definitely getting that pineapple taste to it. That's the sweetness part I'm getting. Orange pulp, maybe a little bit from the citrusy, but it's not heavy to me. But I think that sweetness from the pineapple on the end is throwing me off a little bit.
I can see pineapple. It's not
let's
like
play a fun game. Let's jump over to the burial site real quick.
All right, you doing it, or you want me to?
Sure, I can do it. I'll jump on. Let's see here.
I've got it pulled up. I just didn't.
Go for it. Go
All
for
it. Someone else is currently sharing. We're encountering that issue again. All right.
I don't know who's sharing because it's not me.
Let me. Yeah, it's disabled on my end. Can you do it?
Same here. Nope. Oh well.
All right. Well, we will say our names anyway.
Yeah. So we've talked
go.
multiple times about the wild names that is burial beer and how they come up with them. And I guess you mentioned at the beginning, kind of before we hit record, that they're leaning into this now, right? Because I think they realize that their names are wild.
Yes. I've always given them shit for that.
Yeah. That and more so the descriptions.
Yeah.
The names are wild as is, but the descriptions are just completely insane.
How ridiculous would it be to bartend at burial and then people come up reciting the full name of the beer? There's got to be... There's a system, right? There's got to be a system.
I don't know. Y'all take the Savages of Ruminating Minds Heavy Resin Edition, please. Oh, where your demons reside? Is that what you're looking for? Where you're held at the brink of surreality? Sure, man.
I think I remember, but I guess you have to have a descriptive name because they have so many on tap at a time. But yeah, the names can be 2 lines long, and the descriptions twice that. So this one is short. For all intent and purposes of burial naming conventions, this beer is only 4 words, right?
Yeah. And that's true. The longer you make a beer name, the more creative and the more names you can pump out. There's definitely breweries that are coming up that are having a hard time coming up with new names for beers because they box themselves into short beer names.
Yeah, but not burial.
Nope.
The encyclopedias and dictionaries are the world's oyster of names. I feel like they just kind of go, here we go, here's the name. Yeah. I don't know, man. Or
they probably just pull up this site and they probably just pull up their own site and be like, all right, let's choose somebody for the beer's name that we're going to come out. Like mine, for example. Okay, so let's go through this. I wish we could see the screen, but we can't because there's a bug with Riverside. But it's what's your burial beer name? So the first letter of your first name plus your birth month plus the last letter of your last name. So for me, first letter of my first name is R. I'm going, oh, Jesus. Fuck.
Autoschediastic. Schedule or shediastic?
Autoschediastic.
I feel like
Wretchedness.
schediastic.
Autoschediastic wretchedness along a metaphysical avenue to uncharted enclaves. Yep.
Ugh.
Autoschediastic wretchedness along a metaphysical avenue to uncharted enclaves.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Birth month, last letter. So MOC. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Acrimonious. Decrepitude. Inhabited by pale dread. Pretty cool.
No,
Yeah.
No, you did it wrong. It's the last letter of your last name, not the first letter of your last name. So you need to be looking at Y down at the end.
I do. Okay, acrimonious, decrepitude, appropriated by endless hollow oaths. I'm even longer name now. I'm an even longer name.
That's like a good IPA. I drink that IPA.
Yeah, man.
There's a good chance we already have drank that IPA.
These are all recycled.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Yeah.
We need a real burial fan to chime in and just be like, yeah, all these were already taken. God.
So
engulfed in the decaying convention.
If I do the math right, 12 times, 20, 27 letters in the alphabet? 26. 27 letters.
26.
26 letters of the alphabet times 12 months in the year times 26 letters in the alphabet. You can come up with, it doesn't really seem right, 8,112 different beer names.
I think it's because you did letters. Because you can make so many words with 26 letters. The formula, I think if we were going to figure this formula out, it would take all week because it's going to get complicated. But there might be a name generator already that we could maybe use.
Well, I'm just wondering if we threw this into like ChatGPT, we could see how many different potential combinations we could get of beer names.
Interesting. There's a really shitty, and I would share this, craft beer name generator. And it's craftbeergenerator.com/index.html.
Nice. Going back to 2001. I like it.
Yeah, dude. Trained machine learning generator. So it's being updated. Chocolate Homeman Stout.
Yeah.
Irons Ale, English Dark Mild Ale. This is trained machine learning generator. But damn, this is a great one right here. Pite Moop. Czech Pilsner. PITEMOOP. Pite Moop. 2 words.
You know, every time I see something on Google about OpenAI or something, I get really scared. And then I see things like this and I go, okay, we've got a few more years.
Hawk's Viewpoint Milk Stout. Kronos Chimera Malt Liquor. Like malt liquor, really? This is craft beer name generator. What's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny. God. Malt liquor.
Some of these barrel names though are totally abstracted lesions on a dispatch of maelstrom.
That seems generated. I don't think they said that was a good one.
I'm looking at the burial beer name site.
I know.
Adept bleakness that hounded you and I.
Oh my god. They gotta laugh as they print these off.
Mm-hmm.
For we shall wander this road to oblivion.
Right.
That's the name of their Triple India Pale Ale.
Of course it is. So what should we name this beer? I don't know. Provocative, melancholy, laden with incessant weariness.
You know, I was thinking more of the clandestine quest of wayward creatures.
Yeah, what was I thinking? My bad. That makes more sense. That's what this one tastes like right here.
Gosh, every utterance rendered meaningless in these conversations. You could start using these beers just as like a fill in the blank.
Mad Libs. Mad Libs.
Yes,
yeah.
That's it.
Burial has become the Room 101 nomenclature for beers.
Dude, yeah, Room 101 is always talking about some type of hole.
Mm-hmm.
Mouth
Some
hole.
type of hole.
A void.
I feel like Liquid Death is getting there. They're just not there with the crazy, like, long names.
That's
they
true.
definitely have unique names, and their marketing is kind of similar to Burial.
Yeah.
But the names aren't as long. But their descriptions, don't be scared, it's just water. Like, okay,
yeah,
I won't be.
It's weird. Yeah, Room 101 cigars. I'm sure there's a reason why they do it, but I'm just going to go to I'm going to see if I can get to their Instagram. I don't know if I'm logged in. Let's see here. There's got to be one that has been recent that we can showcase.
Someone else is currently sharing. Nobody's sharing the screen.
No.
Okay, whatever.
So, Room 101 doesn't do like long descriptions of cigars or what the cigar description is, but it's their social media posts that more often than not, or somewhere online, you'll see them go on this ridiculous journey. Here is one that has no mouth holes to it yet that I can see, but we are the brand that left our belt at your mama's house last night. They're already talking about your mama's hole. So, Wranglers of Galactic Flavors and the Good Times. Back alley assailants wielding dead plant logs that deliver delight above and beyond the standard fare. We would like to think our goods are our goods. They messed up. It's supposed to be our goods. Our goods are modestly decent. Fill your face with the gape of our taste. Gape of our taste.
Hole. There it is.
What? Fill your face with the gape of our taste. Wow. From the brand unlike any other in the world. That one was 5 weeks ago.
I feel like Chad was on vacation, so they just had to like come up with their own description. Like it's not what it's what I expect from Room 101, but it seems like they're trying a lot harder to be what they normally are.
Yeah.
And the guy's name is totally Chad. I'm just guessing, but his name's totally Chad.
Just like Loch Nessie.
Loch Nessie.
Jesus. Dude, just like Loch Nessie. Tall green celestials from space and big natural breasts. These items are harder than the most hardest of hard things you could hardly find to discover.
Okay.
What the fuck? What the fuck? That's the first paragraph. Did reading that last sentence almost give you an aneurysm? So will the hunt for our most precious unattainables.
That's how they tied it in?
Yeah, if you could reach into your cellular device right now and nab up some of this unobtainium goodness, what would your little dick Skinner be reaching for? A stout selection held by a dedicated... Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like, that one's not very playful.
No.
Of course, the comments are like, give me all this, though. Holy shit, bro. Is that a toe or a thumb? Either way, new kink unlocked. The first two comments were from the other two brand profiles of Room 101. So, I wouldn't be surprised if the fourth one was affiliated in some way.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's Room 101. And I'm glad Burial doesn't stick to one premise.
Yeah. Their naming conventions, circling back to them, definitely do stick to the same like name nomenclature, but
yeah,
at least they have the good beer to back it up. So
true.
Props to Burial for putting this together. This one, by the way, you can't compare the two styles of beer. Having a Pilsner versus having an IPA, you can obviously have a preference on which one you like better, but I can't say one is better than the other just because they're two different beers. But yeah. I prefer IPAs over Pilsners. This beer is definitely my favorite out of the two tonight.
The only deterrence from this IPA is the amount of sweetness as I keep drinking it. It is kind of layering a little bit. I keep tasting more and more in the back of my throat. That kind of sweet and haze, really.
Yep.
So for me, I'm leaning more Pilsner.
Leaning more Pilsner, huh?
I am.
Okay. All right. But that's not surprising, though, because that's typically what you've been going towards lately.
It's weird. Like, triple IPAs don't really get my attention as much as they used to because they're always so sweet. Doubles are still cool, home style, or IPAs. I went straight home style. This is nice, but it's sweet. Kind of like a double or triple would be because of just how much hops are in there, I guess. Or the style of hop. That's where I'm a little lost on that brewing process because this amount of sweetness I'm getting here, it does taste like it's heavier than it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not that heavy of a beer. I mean, it's 7.2%, which is right in the range of your typical New England style IPA. You know, a lot of New England style IPAs are a lot drier than something like this. But then again, I don't think they push this as a New England style IPA, even though on Untappd it says it is. I think they push this as more of just like an American IPA, but it's got a heavy resin hop to it. So it kind of makes sense.
When does an IPA become double? Is now my thought, because
what, in terms of like ABV?
Well, just when do you want to label it a double versus a single?
Well,
not a double dry hop. What did I say?
No, a double IPA versus a regular IPA. Yeah, I mean it's just simply when you use double the amount of ingredients with the same amount of water. That's basically all a double IPA is. Yeah, so I mean you
makes
double
a lot
down
of
on
sense.
the hops, you double down on the yeast, you double down on the barley, you make a bigger beer, and as a result, the alcohol is kicked up. But there is no hard and fast rule on what's the minimum starting point for a double IPA. I mean, we have double IPAs that are 7%, like we're having tonight, and then they have double IPAs that are 10% and 11%, but they're doubles.
I can't believe I never put those facts together for double and triple. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I always was thinking it might have been like alcohol characteristics, but they all can blend in directions of a ABV. It just depends on your min-maxing. I'm assuming you're not going to get a below 7% triple because you're tripling everything.
Correct.
But a double could phase into the same grounds of the 7 to 8% category.
It depends on what your starting ingredients are, right? Whatever your starting ingredients are, whatever that ABV comes up with, and you just double the ingredient list, but you keep the water the same, you're going to get a higher ABV as a result. But there is no minimum starting point. I mean, I'm sure you could make a 6% double IPA. I'm sure it could be done if you started out with a 4% or a 5% regular IPA.
That'd be, if I saw a 6-point-something% double IPA, I feel like that would be a flex.
Be hard to make.
Yeah.
It'd
be like making a Pilsner. Yeah. It has to be exact, kind of.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm going.
What if that could be a sessionable double IPA? Sorry.
I don't think. I definitely think
it's a joke.
Okay, but see,
Yeah.
you've got my analytical mind going now, so I have a hard time differentiating. I'm over here like,
But you get all the people who go, no, sip.
That's exactly what I was doing. No,
sessionable. I guess you couldn't market it that way because it'd be not true. Because sessionable is below 5.
I don't know if there is a definition, but a sessional IPA is one of those things that you can just drink multiple beers and be fine.
Like
Typically, they're less than 4, but whatever. Tiny IPAs, as Beard Irish likes to call them.
So that's the joke then. It's sessionable double IPA.
Yeah, sure.
I like this.
Foamy Head's bringing you the first sessionable double IPA. Triple dry
We'll have
hop.
to think of a fun name. Oh God, triple.
Oh, I've got a fun name right here for it. It is the ubiquitous wretchedness beyond the culmination of continuation. See how easy that was?
It's sessionable.
It worked that time. That was good.
It did.
I liked it.
Oh,
Okay, so finishing up, I stand with the IPA on this one. You like the Pilsner on this one. What are you rating each one of these on Untappd? Because that is the demon that every brewery hates but has to have around here. So where are you rating these?
I'll do 2 ratings for each because I'm kind of adjusting the Untappd ratings to be more in the favor of the brewer when it comes to success of how much I enjoyed it. Because the rating system I want to do doesn't help the brewer's case, right? Mm-hmm. The whole, out of 5 bottle caps. So I would give the IPA a 3.75 on my personal opinion, but it's a really delicious beer, so it's a 4.5. It's very abstract the way I'm rating it, right? But I don't want the brewers to think it was a terrible thing from the world. I'm sure this one already had high ratings, though, from what you told me. Mm-hmm. The Pilsner, I would probably be closer to the mark on rating for both kind of opinions, 4.25. I'd probably put that as the whole thing. I did enjoy the IPA a lot. It's got a lot of, I don't want to say complexity, it's a lot of dank. It's a lot of haze. It's delicious. My mouth is sweating, and I need to drink more kind of thing. The sweetness is really the only part I could leave that. I wouldn't want that. That's it, though. That's my only complaint. The nose is great. Tastes good.
The
Looked
sweetness,
great, too.
The lack of... Yeah, it looks really good. If the sweetness were to be dialed back a little bit, you'd give it a higher rating.
I would. It'd be 4.75 to 5. 2 marks off from perfect kind of thing.
Yeah. So. I'm sitting... So, I'm actually kind of going in the same direction that you are, but from like the opposite beer. So I think the Burial Pilsner collab with OK Brewing sits around a 3.5 to 3.75 for me. Particularly because I have enjoyed the more hoppier style Pilsners. And so the likenesses of Smith and Lentz and whatnot. So just for me personally, I feel like if these guys, and they were trying to make it a hoppy Pilsner because they were adding multiple styles of hops into it, I feel like they were holding back a little bit on that. I think I'm going to give them a 3.75 because I think that if they were to amp up the hops a little bit more and truly lean into the hoppy style Pilsner that they were trying to make, it would have gotten a higher rating. The IPA, on the other hand, is definitely right up my alley. I like that sweetness at the end. I like the dankness, the resiny that comes with it. I'm going 4.5 on that because that's just it's directly my style of beer. To make it better, I don't know. I kind of go with you. Dial back just a tad on the sweetness. you could potentially amp up the booziness just a little bit. Just make it feel like, a 7% beer, because it did not drink like a 7% beer. It was thick and it was juicy and it was dank, but there was no booziness to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. It can be a good thing, but lean into it a little bit. I feel like both of these beers were amazing, but they were both holding back in some aspect of the style that they were trying to achieve, and that's kind of deterring me on my rating a little bit.
That's a good critique, man. Yeah. That's really good.
So that's what I'm going with. 3.75 for the Pilsner, 4.5 for the IPA.
Nice.
Final ratings.
Hell yeah. Final ratings.
But good job, Burial. Killing it. Knocking it out of the park as usual.
Part of me wishes we had that button to lock in our answer.
Was it Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Or they're like, final answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some cheesy sound effect. We'll have to find one.
Yeah. We've got plenty of them. We just got to figure out how to use them and where to put them in.
That's true. Man, I'm glad we didn't do all 4 beers today. Even though I was ready to. But,
that's right.
So
we'll have 2
these
more.
have hit hard.
Right. We'll do 2 more. We've got another session coming up down the pipeline, which we'll have the porter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're doing the what do they call it? It was the light grinder porter, and then their West Coast style IPA, Artistry of Absent-Mindedness, because of course it was. But I'm looking forward to that one.
The Artistry of Absent-Mindedness. God, every time. All right, man.
The Burial distribution, man. If we're going to get it in Tennessee, I look very much forward to having them being more distributed in Middle Tennessee.
They're going to take more of my money the second those bottles of stout show up and all their other selections. So, thanks, Burial.
Yeah, taking our money.
This has been fun, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for grabbing those. And if you guys have been following us along at home, hope you guys have been cracking beers all night too. And I don't know, Mitch, are you empty over there? Did you finish both of them?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I did.
Okay.
Foolishly, but I did.
All right. Well, this has been fun, man. I appreciate it. It's been a good time. Burial beers are fucking awesome. And cheers to everybody listening. Cheers to everybody that'll be listening later on once the episode drops. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers.
Cheers.